I wanted to just lose some weight at first, and that's okay. I didn't say I want to lose 150 pounds. In fact, my first goal weight was 190 pounds. To me, that was making it. What started happening very quickly is that when I really got my diet under control, my anxiety started to become less and less. My depression wasn't gripping me anymore. And so when I got a taste of that, it's like it put me into a whole nother headspace. I just knew life had to be different. I was at my breaking point. I had days I couldn't get out of the bed. I was terrified of everyone and everything. I wanted to be free from that.
Victoria, get back in here. Get away from that refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, especially today of all days.
I don't know what it is with you, but you walked in this morning to do the wraparounds here on this podcast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened to you?
You know what? You are treading on some thin ice. Okay, David. I will admit, I have got the COVID-7. Okay, mine's not the COVID. What's 19?
15.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the COVID-19.
No, I don't have the COVID-19. I have the COVID-7.
Okay.
I've put on 7 pounds. And David was like, oh, or are you just not eating well? I said, or are you not working out? I said, no, I'm eating junk.
No, you look fantastic.
Well, you can't tell. I hide it well. No one else can tell but me that I've gained the weight. But you feel gross. You just don't feel like yourself when you have that extra weight.
I've gained 7 pounds too, and I can tell. I think we can
tell.
all
Looking at you, I can't tell.
No, I think we can all tell ourselves.
We can tell ourselves because we put our clothes on. We see ourselves naked, so we are our best judger. Or is that right? Judger?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Whatever.
Why not? If somebody can come up with COVID, you can be a judger, right? But you know what? We have somebody on the show today who get this, 150 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Became a new person. We're talking about Christine Carter, who is the weight loss hero. That's what she's been dubbed.
You know what? She's also this social media sensation.
Yeah,
she has hundreds of thousands of followers.
I think almost 300,000. She's on Instagram as @weight-loss-hero. And her story is fascinating. I have actually tried the keto diet and I have failed every time. So I'm excited about what Christine's going to teach me.
Now, she's going to give us some practical tools, especially now that we have to get this COVID era
Everybody's got COVID.
Off.
I'm telling you, I'll bet everybody or the majority of people have a number from COVID for the last 3 months of what they've gained.
I heard someplace, not that what you hear you should believe, but I heard that the average weight gain during the COVID-19 has been 15 pounds.
Then we're good.
Yeah, we are good.
All right. I don't feel so bad.
But, I think it's just boredom.
It is boredom, and it's sitting down watching TV. And what do you want to do? Like you do at the movies. You want to eat popcorn? You're sitting now on your couch. For me, it's chips.
Comfort food.
It's chips.
Comfort food.
Yeah. I'm addicted.
So let's jump to this interview. And I will tell you when you come back, we're going to do a little exercise.
Like working out? I have on heels.
So here's our interview with weight loss hero, Christine Carter.
And her book is Weight Loss Hero, Transform Your Mind and Your Body with a Healthy Keto Lifestyle.
Hello, Christine. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Under the circumstances, I'm doing really well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I have not had breakfast quite yet. I actually intermittent fast, so I don't usually start eating till a little early afternoon.
So the intermittent fasting works for you?
It does. I like it because I'm usually not hungry first thing in the morning anyways. So I learned about intermittent fasting and tried it, and I love my energy when I do it. So it's something that works well for me.
So let's share your story. I know you're all over the internet, and you have a pretty big following. And
I do.
Why is that? Why do people find you fascinating? Share your story with us.
Absolutely. So about 5 years ago, I found myself, actually about 6 years ago, at almost 300 pounds and just like so many other people, I felt like I was stuck. I was in the vicious cycle of dieting. I always joke, I feel like I dieted my way up to 300 pounds because I'd go all in on some crazy new fad diet and I'd lose 10 pounds and I'd gain back 15 and then I'd gain 5 more and decide to kind of repeat that cycle. And I just felt stuck. I felt like I had a bad relationship with food. I was using it. I was eating my feelings. I was using it to kind of fill those emotional voids. And, I wanted my circumstances to change. I was motivated for a different body. I was motivated for a different life, but I really wasn't motivated for the process of that and for the changes that needed to take place. And so, my final thing is I decided to have weight loss surgery. And I'm like, that's a sure thing, right? I mean, you go in, you're going to remove, over half my stomach and throw it in the trash can. And that's going to be just a win-win. I'm going to do it. And I saved up for that and I had that done. And the problem is that nothing changes if nothing changes. And even having weight loss surgery, I found myself facing a really harsh reality that I was finding new ways to eat my feelings. I was finding new, more creative ways to drink my calories. Maybe I couldn't eat a whole cake, but I could drink 3 Frappuccinos a day. And what started as really only an initial very small weight loss, because I was still repeating the same habits, the scale started going back up. And this for me was kind of an ultimate rock bottom moment, that not even doing something that drastic was going to save me. Like I was trying to run from myself, and I felt so ashamed and I felt embarrassed. And I've always been someone that lives my life quite out loud. And so of course everyone knew I was having surgery. Everyone knew. And I felt like everyone was watching me struggle. And so there came a moment, and in that moment, I was just like, I'm not going to feel this way anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not going to be that billboard when you drive down the road and you see, did you fail weight loss surgery? Call us. I'm not going to be that poster child. I know life has more to it than this. And it was a process, just like anything else, of instead of trying to figure out how to make myself a different person, I decided to try to figure out a diet style and a workout style that worked with me. And I had a few tough realities. Is I don't like to cook. I don't like complicated stuff. I like to eat out. I hate exercise. So how can I take all of those realities and how can I turn them into a process that can work for me? And that's exactly what I did. And I had mentors along the way. I had a support system that I built along the way, and I journaled that out loud. And so I started losing weight, and I did it. I mean, I absolutely, when I got on this path and I really embraced change from the inside out, I think that was the biggest change here, is that I realized that in addition to the hard work, I'm going to have to do the hard work. I'm going to have to face myself. I'm going to have to face some of the traumas that I haven't healed from. I'm going to have to do anything. And that looks a lot of different ways, from, again, having mentors, having, reading personal development books, filling my mind with positivity and light, doing my daily devotionals. All of those things come together to really start changing yourself from the inside out.
Let me ask you, because I've been through this. I've been up and down with my weight my entire life since I was a kid. I would always want to lose weight, and I would go on this diet and go on that diet. And by the way, I've lost as much as 70 pounds at times. Now, I will tell you that I'm pretty much where I want to be right now. You can always lose that extra 10 pounds, but
oh, sure. And that's great.
We always dream about being a certain weight that we once happened to be back in the days when I was hosting a television show in Hollywood. I weighed 195. So I still think I have a pair of pants and a jacket to get into that I've been holding on to for about 30 years.
Okay.
But I'm not that far off. I'm about 20 pounds from that. But
all right.
You know, we try all these diets, all these fad diets, with the diet of the month, the diet of the week. We see all these TV spots. What was your secret? How did you do it?
Well, I think that there's a couple of things here that are super important. So in addition to, and this is one of the things that is kind of the first half of my book, and I think it's what makes it different. I think that there's a 3-pronged approach to weight loss, right? So diet, obviously, workout, obviously, but the mindset changes are that final piece. And the thing is, and I'm just going to tell you, one of the biggest sabotaging mindsets that I have seen, I've worked with thousands of women, and this is one of the top ones that we have to start to hammer through, is the all or nothing mindset. We have one speed and it's all in, and we're either all in or we're all out. And so this is what we do, right? We get fed up. We feel just disgusting. We're stuck in this shame cycle, and we're laying in our bed and we're like, I am never going to eat bad again. And we're like, I'm going to work out twice tomorrow. I'm going to take every supplement that GNC sells, and I'm going to eat perfect. And we set these unrealistic expectations, because at the end of the day, what this really is about is it's changing habits. It's changing patterns. Sometimes that's patterns of things that we do, and sometimes that's thought patterns. And that takes a long time. And so one of the secrets to what I call learning to live in the space between all and nothing is truly starting with a small approach with small changes that you build on. Now, a couple of things happen here. Number one, when you make a commitment to yourself and you show up for yourself, that builds an internal motivation. It really does. Action creates motivation. It's not the other way around. Everyone asks me, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated? By repeatedly doing over and over and over. But there's also a self-confidence and a self-love piece there. When you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to work out 3 times, and then you don't do it, to yourself, you've failed. And I think that's where one of the biggest pitfalls is. So we get all excited. And so one of the ways that I walk through this in my book and in my program when I work with women is through what I call a phased approach. So like, obviously, you know, we'd all like the idea that we just eat super healthy and organic and, you know, just do everything just right. But at the beginning, it's more about making the better bad choice. It's more about taking what you're doing and tweaking it. And then a week later, making more adjustments and building on that. And it's crazy. Are you going to lose 20 pounds in 1 week doing that? No, but I don't really care about someone losing 20 pounds in 1 week if they just gain back 30. I didn't help them do anything if they did that.
When you had this revelation, when you decided to go for it, you must have had an incredible amount of fear that you were just setting yourself up for another false start, another failure. How did you get past that?
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of times when we get excited about changing our lives and doing something different, we start just mapping all this stuff out. But then we also allow ourselves to think way far in the future. Well, what if this and what if that? And I need to learn this. And that analysis paralysis can just absolutely paralyze us in fear. And I heard a quote the other day that I just loved, and it said that if you ever want to have the courage to explore the ocean, you have to have the courage to leave sight. Let me say that again. Mm-hmm. If you want to ever explore the ocean, you have to have the courage to lose sight of the shore. And I think that's so true. Like when you actually visualize that and you're in this place and you're wanting to change and you're on the shore and you're looking at the ocean, like it seems so exciting, but the shore feels so safe. And we cling to that safety. And even though it might be killing us and it might be tearing us down, it's like once we know what to expect, it's so easy for our habits to keep us chained there. And so the biggest thing for me was saying, you know what? I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to worry about loose skin or what people are going to think. I just need to take the next right step, the next small change, and just start building on that and see where it goes.
You went from what to what?
So I started at 297 pounds, and today I'm sitting right at 130.
Wow. And you don't look back. You don't look over your shoulder. You don't. First of all, how are you getting through these crazy last couple of months? I mean, I don't know about you, but man, I walk by the refrigerator about 100 times a day. And it's not because I'm hungry. It's because sometimes you're just daggone bored.
Look, I actually have a picture of myself scolding myself in my fridge that says, "You are not hungry, you are bored," as a reminder. And it actually works. As a reminder, listen, everyone is struggling right now with their weight. And here's the truth. You are literally quarantined with your refrigerator. Okay. It is okay. But I think that there's a balance right now. Everybody handles this time differently. And I will tell you, for me, the first couple of weeks, I wouldn't say my habits are to eat healthy, but I was definitely eating way too much. And that's two sides of the same unhealthy coin, right? I was taking in too many calories. And so what I did that just really helped me, just as like a strategy, is I didn't want to track and, try to make myself be on some kind of strict diet during a quarantine and during this stressful time. But what I decided to do is just to tell myself I was going to write down the foods I ate throughout the day on a pad that I'm keeping next to the fridge. Now, all it does is it just brings awareness to you, and it just shows you like, hey, Christine, you've gone a little hard today. Maybe you don't need those, that extra snack tonight. And that actually, believe it or not, really helped kind of reroute my patterns, just by making me aware. But so many people are struggling right now. And again, I don't think we need to try to force ourselves to be on some crazy strict plan ever, but especially during times like this, I think we've got to grant ourselves a little bit of grace. I think we've got to have a little bit of faith, and I think we just need to start making small right choices in the right direction.
Yeah, but how do you cut out the alcohol? I mean...
Well, I know I'm actually, believe it or not, I've definitely had my days where I would go out. I'm not a huge drinker myself anymore. That's actually a really common thing, believe it or not, where people will get control of their habits with like food, but it just turns into drinking your feelings instead of eating your feelings. And so for me, I started kind of seeing a pattern I just didn't like, where I think before I'd be like, I'm stressed out, let me go have a burger. It turned into, I'm stressed out, let me go have a beer. And so I really changed a lot of those habits. So every now and then I will drink, but during my weight loss phase, I would go out with my friends on a Friday or Saturday night, but just like with anything, learning to have that moderation and learning to say like, okay, I'm only going to have 2 drinks and I'm going to have a soda water in between them and keep myself hydrated, and just learn to not be all in on that, I think is a really good start.
So, part of your book title is, transform your mind and your body with a healthy keto lifestyle. What is healthy about keto?
So I want to talk about really fast, before I answer what's healthy about keto, is a lot of the misconceptions about the keto diet. So when people think of the keto diet, I think because of how people market it and how people post about it, they just see all bacon and butter, and they're like, that sounds like a terrible idea. Which, me personally, I've had high cholesterol my whole life. I've had heart conditions my whole life. And every doctor I've ever met has told me that a high fat diet would kill me. So, I mean, honestly, me trying a keto diet was me being so desperate to just do something. I thought, well, let me just do it. I'll lose some weight and then I can transition to something else. That was my original game plan. What's crazy is I've never been healthier. 5 years in on a keto diet, my cholesterol, I'm off all medications. My cholesterol is in a normal range. I don't have to take my heart medicine anymore. So that's what made me start researching. I want to understand why that happened, because, I lived through the 90s, like most of us, where the low fat diet was like all the rage, and it made sense. In my mind, it makes sense. If I eat a bunch of fat, I'm going to get fat. That's what happened in my brain. But what's so crazy is when we came out of that 90s period, diabetes was at an all-time high. Heart disease was at an all-time high. So it's like something here doesn't make sense. When you really go back biologically, how we ate from the beginning of time, it would have been very in line with a ketogenic diet. We would have been eating animal meat. We would have been eating fats. We would have been eating proteins. Every now and then some berries when they were in season, or some tubers and vegetables when they were in season. But primarily, we would have been eating things that were not Pop-Tarts. And I keep mentioning Pop-Tarts on this. I think I got Pop-Tarts on the brain. But here's the deal. Sugar was created a couple of thousand years ago. We have not been eating sugar our whole lives. And what I feel like we're seeing is that we're really not built to. We're really not meant to. And I think our bodies have to kind of start creating these workarounds in order to still function despite what we're feeding it. So that's where you start seeing high cholesterol and high blood pressure and PCOS and insulin resistance, is because our body is like, I don't know how to deal with what you're asking me to do. And so when we remove that sugar, when we remove those roadblocks, we actually start seeing our body start to revert back to how it was originally created to function. And you see a lot of these ailments just disappear.
The keto diet, tell me the difference between that and the, because I remember years ago when I went on my first diet, I mean, really went for it. It was the Atkins diet. Tell me how they differ.
So one of the biggest differences with the Atkins diet is a traditional ketogenic diet is going to be highest in healthy fats is the goal. So not necessarily bacon and butter all day, but highest in healthy fats. It's going to have a moderate to a moderate low protein. One of the things with the Atkins diet that was a little bit different is that it was also a high protein diet. And so the thing is that can be really hard on the liver and the kidneys to be taking in a ton of protein and a ton of fat. And so the layout with the ketogenic diet is a little bit different. And here's the thing. There's a million different variations of what is considered to be, quote, keto on the internet. The way that I kind of do keto is really looking at it from eating quality food. Okay. So eating, quality chicken or quality steak, eating vegetables, eating really good oils, things like that. I think, again, with Atkins, everybody has a picture in their head of just eating bacon all day, which, don't get me wrong, I like bacon. But I think that that's kind of the picture that we get in our head. And I don't think that that's the healthiest way to eat overall.
When you went from 297 down to 130 pounds, what went through your mind other than just being healthy and wanting to be healthier?
Yeah.
What vision did you have? What goals did you have? Why did you want to lose all this weight beyond the obvious, beyond the I want to be healthier? What was your real mental state?
Yeah.
What did you achieve? How's it turned out for you?
I will tell you that I had no idea what kind of life was waiting for me on the other side. And I never could have possibly dreamed that this, what I do now, I just wanted to lose some weight, okay? I had no idea what was in store for me down the road. So at that time, I was very depressed. I had extreme anxiety. I was on multiple medications to try to help control those things. And the thing is that I wanted to just lose some weight at first, and that's okay. I didn't say I want to lose 150 pounds. In fact, my first goal weight was 190 pounds. Like, to me, that was making it. And so I started there. But what started happening very quickly is that when I really got my diet under control, and when I really got my my movement, and I was moving every day, my anxiety started to become less and less. My depression wasn't gripping me anymore. And so when I got a taste of that, and I really started filling myself up, it's like it put me into a whole nother headspace. So I can't sit here and say I mapped out these goals. I just knew life had to be different. I was at my breaking point. I mean, I had days I couldn't get out of the bed. I was terrified of everyone and everything. And so I wanted to be free from that. And I found that freedom along this path. And it was difficult and it was hard. But one of the things that I did, I knew that I would have excess skin, right? Like, I mean, somewhere at least, like you're not going to walk away totally unscathed from being over 150 pounds overweight. And I set a goal. And it was the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen because I literally went and saw this plastic surgeon. I knew I wanted a tummy tuck way before I was at my goal weight because I just wanted to know when, how long, what weight do I need to be at? How much is it going to cost? And so for me, that was kind of like, because I didn't have the money for it either. So I need you to understand, like I was working sometimes 70, 75 hours a week, working overtime to try to save up for this. And so when I kind of honed in on like a finish line goal, like something that it's like, this is going to be my reward. This is going to be kind of when I cross that finish line, like I can keep my eyes on the prize and just put horse blinders on and set myself on fire. That's when things really changed for me.
The people around you, tell me about what your relationships were like, how things changed.
Yeah.
What you begin to notice as you lost the weight, what kind of support you had, and what kind of people, that there must have been people who said, oh my gosh, she's turning into something other than what we know her for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I could probably fill up 3 podcasts full of of conversation on this topic. I learned really quick that most people are very supportive of you up to a point, and everyone becomes a registered dietitian and a doctor when you decide to start eating healthy and exercise. Everyone has an opinion, for sure. And I think that that's one of the things that for a long time would shut me down. I might say, I'm going to try this diet. And I would tell a friend and they'd go, oh, well, I heard, or you need to do it this way. And, my willpower at that point was that of about a feather. So it didn't take much to kind of break it. I had to learn with this process that this really had to be for me. And I couldn't seek external validation from those around me. I learned that real quick because everybody kind of had something to say. And I think that in general, that people genuinely love you and they care for you, but they a lot of times are providing advice and direction through the lens of their own past failures or their own perceived failures. And a lot of times their struggles will get you down. And so, I had a lot of changes in my life because a lot of people, honestly, I don't feel like exactly what you just said, people, it's like have you ever heard of the crabs in the bucket theory?
No.
So this is real life. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one crab tries to climb its way out, by nature, all of the other crabs will reach up and try to pull the crab back down. It's kind of that mentality that like, if we're going to be here, you have to be here with us. And so, I kind of feel like when you radically change your life, when you radically change how you think, sometimes you leave people that they don't come with you into that new season. You know what I'm saying? So, so I definitely had a lot of relationships that changed. And then I had a lot of boundaries that I just had to set with people for sure, where you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And this is just my plan. And we can talk about other things, but I don't want to talk about that. And it's funny because I will tell you approximately 100% of the people who maybe had something to say or had something negative or felt a certain way about my change now come to me for help and now come to me and want to be, read my book or want to be in my program or actually want that guidance. So it's just kind of like when you change, it can freak other people out. People have an idea in their head of who you are. And when you're not that person anymore, it can definitely freak them out. But a lot of those relationships actually wound up being sustained. And then they actually wind up coming on board with you down the road.
So on your road to reinvention, because that's really what you did. How did you really discover your true self-worth? How did you reinvent yourself and how did you discover your self-worth?
It's a process that doesn't ever stop. I will tell you that the mind and the heart of it take a lot longer than the body does. We all get frustrated that we can't lose weight fast enough, but I will tell you that for me, one of the worst and hardest things that I had to deal with is I lost all this weight. I was feeling good. I was, I had plastic surgery. I got through all of that, but I still was picking myself apart. I still didn't feel like I was worth it. I still didn't feel like I was good enough. And that's where I had to start really down that process of finding myself and not who everyone else says I was. I think we all can fall into this habit of getting our identity from the world. For me, it's who does God say I am? Who do I say I am? And it was really starting on that journey to self-discovery. And there's not an equation for that. There's not a one-size-fits-all process for finding yourself, but it starts with letting go of the idea of who you have to be, letting go of the idea of who other people told you that you are, and really starting to listen to that inner voice. I don't think you can really listen to that inner voice until you're in that healthy mindset of taking care of your body, having those habits. Like all of this kind of starts to evolve naturally. And that's what I have found with so many of the women that I've coached too, is it's a process, and it's a long process, but it's a process that's beautiful. Like it's not good when you get there. It's good all along the way, along with its struggles. You know what I mean?
And what role did your faith play in all of this?
You know, my faith during, I grew up in the church. I was there 8 days a week. I know my Bible verses, but somewhere along the road in my teenage years, I really just kind of fell away from the church. I didn't have a I'm mad at God scenario, but I was raised Southern Baptist. I feel like a lot of it was a lot more about rules than it was about relationship. And so for me, it's just like, as a teenager, I don't want a bunch of rules I have to follow. And so my journey and my faith really changed a lot after that moment of I still don't have identity. Now I have the things that the world says I should have. I'm thin. I'm fit. I have a great job. I have a great career. I have all the things I should have, but I still feel empty, and I still feel like there's something more. And I look back and I see like all of these seeds that God was planting that now I'm like, you were being sneaky, and I see it now. But I see all these seeds that he was planting along the way. And I had to come to a point where I really slowly but surely, I would start to listen to a worship song every now and then, or maybe I'd flip on that sermon I saw on Instagram. And slowly but surely, my faith just absolutely just had a radical change. And I think that's been the biggest part of my change. Obviously, what you see in pictures is the change on the outside, but the changes that took on the inside, that was kind of the catalyst to that. You know what I'm saying? That happened. A lot of that happened in the years after.
During this crazy period we're all going through, and who knows how long it's going to last, at various degrees around the country. One day it's this, the next day it's that. They tell us one thing, then they tell us another thing. It's like over the years, I've been told, hey, you know what? If you have that coffee, man, it's going to kill you. The next day it's like, oh, man, you have coffee, you're going to live an extra 5 years. That's sort of what this lockdown's been like. Wear a mask, Don't wear a mask. It's here you are, going through this keto diet thing, walking past a refrigerator, open it up, see that picture, close that door. The stress, the anxiety, the depression that people have to be going through right now. I mean, take me, all right? I'm a single guy. I'm sitting here in my house, isolated. I play by the rules. I'm not going out being a crazy person. What I've done to get through this, to be quite just out there, is every time I feel that like crazy amount of anxiety hitting, where I'm just stressed out, I go out and walk. And I think the first month that I started, I'm in month 2 of walking every day. I did between 4 and 8 miles a day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the first week it was like it was work, and then the second week it was like I got this, and now I literally go out, and when I do walk, I listen to a podcast where I'm talking on the phone, or for the most part. Man, the time just flies by, and I feel like my legs are so much lighter. My feet are like walking on air. So
Yep.
how have you been able to push past the stress and anxiety and the depression along the way as you lost this 150 pounds? Because there must have been a lot of self-doubt. There must have been a lot of, I'm allowed to cheat today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ice cream isn't so bad.
Oh, yeah. We love to justify things in our brain. Like, we just do. We're like, we start doing this and we're like, I heard that was bad. Or you're like, maybe I should. And we can talk ourselves into anything. We really can. I think there's a couple of things. I think that, there's a saying that says idle hands is the devil's playground. And I really think, like, even for me with the quarantine situation, when this all first happened, I was just reading the entire internet. I promise. I read every conspiracy theory. I read every news channel, and I was absolutely panicking. And there comes a point where I was like, you know what? I need to keep myself busy. Like, if I have time to read that, at least I'm going to also spend an equivalent amount of time listening to something or reading something to fill myself up. And here's the thing is that to quiet, let's just say we have light and dark voices in our head, right? You have God, you have the enemy, whatever you want to call it. The only way to drown out the darkness is to increase the light, right? And so for me, I had to learn to keep myself busy, first of all. And I also had to learn to really make a schedule, but I had to pour into myself. I think that's one of the biggest things is you need to constantly be refilling your cup. I meet so many people that they just give to everyone else. They're the last on their list. They pour into everyone else, but they don't take care of themselves. And just like with you, with your walks, you have to have that dedicated time every single day that is for you. And everyone will tell me they don't have time. And I promise you, when I sit down and analyze their day with them, they do. We will find it. And where there's a will, there is a way. But I think that having your core purpose and your core values, and I think reassessing those is also important, right? Like I told you, like my goals now and my goals at the beginning of my weight loss just for my life look super different. And so reassessing where you are, reevaluating where you are, not shaming yourself. I see so many people stay there. And then constantly filling yourself up, just like with you on your walks, like listening to a podcast or anything, an audiobook that's filling you up and really pouring it back into you, I think is so, so, so important for staying on track.
So during this time of hunkering down or social distancing, I love going to restaurants, but I'm not going anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think I've kind of trained myself to get over it. I'm not afraid. I just don't have that big desire to go to a restaurant right now. Help me out here. Give me an idea. Give me a recipe, because I'm really good at making salads about 40 different ways. And I know how to make a hamburger. Like I said, I'm just here by myself. So you got to help me out here. Get inventive. Help me discover something. Give me some kind of a keto recipe that I'm just going to eat up tonight.
Okay, I've got you. And I obviously like giving exact recipe instructions is not the easiest thing via podcast, but we're going to try. I also do have this as a YouTube video, just throwing that out there.
Okay.
There is one thing that I missed more than anything. And I think, and this is a key. This is actually important because I see people when they go on a diet, they think that they just have to eat chicken and broccoli and they hate chicken and broccoli. And I'm like, don't eat foods you hate. First of all, we need to find recipes you like, but you know what I was missing so bad? And understand, I did keto before keto was cool. So we didn't have all these frozen dishes you could go buy or companies making keto food. I had to figure it out. And I miss pizza. Okay. Pizza was just my thing. I like to have ranch with it. And I was like, look, I have got to be able to figure this out. And I tried a whole bunch of different ways. And there's one thing that you're going to have to find, but they're easy to find. And what I would do, this is an example of a better bad choice. It's not the perfect option, but I think it's a great option, especially for people who are just needing to feel that love of pizza a little bit, is I would take a low carb tortilla. Okay. Super easy. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. You're going to take a low carb tortilla. That is going to be your crust. And I'm telling you, This is man approved, woman approved, child approved. Stay with me. You're going to put just a tiny, tiny bit of marinara on it. You don't need to load this thing down. I do pepperoni and I put a little mozzarella cheese. I stick it in the oven for 10 minutes. I pull it out, slice it up like a pizza. I dip it in ranch. It's so good. I'm telling you, people tag me in pizza all the time because it's my thing. I love it so much. It made it to my cookbook. My cookbook, just FYI, I don't like recipes that have more than 5 or 6 ingredients or more than 5 or 6 steps because I don't have time for that. I don't want to learn how to do anything fancy. I wanted something easy that I could just do. And so all my recipes are about as difficult as I just named to you. They're all really, really, really easy, but it's really good, especially if you're craving pizza. It's at least going to cut down on those carbs and all of the extra stuff that comes from Papa John's.
I'm licking my chops here, so that sounds pretty good to me. Mm-hmm. The prepackaged keto things that we find in stores, like in the frozen food section, how good are those? Are those the real deal? Can we just load up on those things?
So it's kind of like this, and this is one of the things I go into in my book. So I have phases, and like as an example, like the first phase is very basic. I'm not making you track. I'm not making you all of this. We're increasing our healthy fats. We're just trying to cut out the sugar, right? It's simple. And then in phase 2, all of those things that you just mentioned are allowed. Now let's talk about this. If you're asking me if somebody should just eat Whataburger all day, every day, or sometimes have some of those, Quest pizzas or Halo Top ice cream, and they're gonna lose weight and improve their health in that situation, or they're gonna continue to gain weight and be unhealthy if they're eating Whataburger all day. That's an obvious answer to me. I don't think you want to stay there though. And as a warning, there are 2 kinds of people. When you eat those kinds of processed foods that taste and feel like real foods, that can be triggering to some people and actually make them crave more of that, right? So it's almost just like a teaser. So if they eat Halo Top ice cream, it makes them just want Bluebell. However, there's the other group of people who it's like, that's going to keep them in line, right? If they can just have a few bites of that, or if they can just have that, it's going to be really good for them. A lot of those things are full of preservatives and things that are not the healthiest option. But I think that if it's like this, if this is going to help you kind of break that connection to sugar, because sugar is one of the most addictive substances in the world. If those things are going to kind of help you get by, and then you're going to be able to transition from there to even replacing it with healthier and healthier options, I think that they're totally fine.
That gives me some hope. I will tell you, I've discovered these ice creams at the store that say keto friendly. I think one of them's Rebel?
Uh-huh.
Are these ice creams the real deal? Can you really eat this stuff and stay on the keto diet?
You can. So the biggest part of keto is that we're not wanting to spike our blood glucose to create an insulin response. We're wanting to keep ourselves, without going into all of the semantics here, we're wanting to keep ourselves what we call like a fat burning state. So the thing is that those ice creams do not create a huge glucose spike. I mean, I have 10 pints of them in my freezer. And the thing is I don't personally I don't ever advocate for eating an entire pint. Like, I don't really like how they're advertised because it's like 100 calories for this whole thing. You don't need a whole thing of ice cream. I just go in there whenever I'm having a little sweet tooth, just take a few bites. And I personally really like them. I think, again, are they perfect? No, nothing ever is though. But those things, I started eating those when they started kind of becoming popular. So about probably 3 years ago. And they definitely just kind of help me, especially when I have a sweet tooth.
So to wrap this up, Christine, I want to just ask you, what has this done for you, your life, your outlook on life? What has it done for you emotionally, personally? How do you feel now versus how you felt 150 pounds ago?
I wish with every fiber of my being that I could allow someone to experience how I felt physically, spiritually, emotionally before, and physically, spiritually, emotionally now. Because it's like if you knew how different it was and how fantastic it was, you wouldn't give up. You would just know. And I will tell you, life changed in so many ways that I just never could have imagined. And it's just, I had no idea what God had in store. I just had to step on my path. And so now I don't think about food all the time. I'm free from that. I love food and I love good food, but it doesn't consume my thoughts. I like how I feel. It's so much more. At first you just want to lose weight, but I think that if we really could just be at the same weight we were and wholly love and accept ourselves and be happy and feel great, that wouldn't be the focus. What we're really chasing is a feeling. We're really chasing happiness. And when you start to get a taste of that, I promise that it's worth it. It is hard. I'm never going to come on here and sell to somebody that this process is easy, but it's absolutely worth it every single step of the way. So it's incredible. I think that what's even more incredible is the opportunities that God's really brought me to pour into other women, and to other, women and men, but my following is primarily women. Just to other people in general, just to be able to help somebody else on their path, to help other people feel less broken, to be able to give them hope. Is something, it's something that I can't describe in words. It's something that's absolutely incredible. And I get to wake up and do what I love every single day. And it's absolutely a blessing.
Well, the book is called Weight Loss Hero, Transform Your Mind and Your Body with a Healthy Keto Lifestyle by Christine Carter, also known as the Weight Loss Hero. Christine, tell us how we can find out more about you and how we can find some of those videos you're talking about.
So you can pretty much find me anywhere on the internet if you search Weight Loss Hero. I mainly do my stuff on Instagram. I also have weightlosshero.com, which has more information just kind of about what I do, my book, everything else. My book is available in stores at Target and Barnes & Noble, and it is also available on Amazon.com, which is one of my favorite retailers.
Yeah, it's the only retailer in my book. I love Amazon.
I like how you said it in my book.
Yeah, my book. Yeah. Where do you live?
I am in Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, Texas. That sounds delicious. Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, Texas.
Where's that?
It's right by Dallas. So I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. Can you get your hair done there, or they're still locking people up for opening their beauty salons?
As of Saturday, they are allowing everybody to get their hair done again, which is great. I don't know. I've kind of learned how to do my own hair, nails, spray tan. I kind of got it down now. I'm really enjoying the savings opportunities for being my own stylist. So I don't know how long I'm gonna hang on to this, but it's been interesting. But everything started opening up last week. I'm kind of like you. I just want to take precaution, especially with a 14-day kind of incubation period with this particular virus. My attitude is I kind of want to wait 2 or 3 weeks after things open and just kind of watch and see. I don't want to be sick. And so I just feel like anything that's really not necessary, I don't need to do. I have ordered food or gone through the drive-through and obviously taken precautions to, be sanitary with those processes. But other than that, I definitely have accepted that this is kind of life right now and have tried to make the best of it. But I also will very much be looking forward to hopefully one day where we can all be within 6 feet of each other safely.
Well, you've been a delight. I'm going to look at some of your videos here. I would encourage others to do the same. And, it's been a trying time for us all. I have one friend who has gained about 20 pounds over the past 2 months.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty fair to myself, and I've been doing all that walking, and I've been really kind of watching the food consumption, and I probably have gained 4 or 5 pounds over the last 2 months. Now, I don't know how much of that is muscle because I've also been doing weight. So, it's...
There you go.
I can still fit into the same clothes. So
that's the test. You got to do the gene test to keep you humble about once a week. And then you're like, okay, I've got to start making some better choices. That's what I did. After the first 2 weeks, I'm like, my jeans are fitting a little snug, and I'm not gonna let this this COVID thing make me gain weight back. So I try to start just being more aware of what I was doing, moving my body a little bit more, and things have been good. So I think that's the biggest thing for people to focus on right now is you don't have to have it all figured out. You just start making better choices.
Well, in all fairness to me, that extra 4 or 5 pounds that I gained is probably my hair.
Oh, yeah. See? It's not your fault.
I haven't had a haircut in so long. I'm trying, but it's kind of out of control. So that's probably a couple pounds of it anyway. Christine, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time talking with you.
Thank you
and I so appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
David, there is no better time than now to have an interview like this.
She lost like 150 or so pounds, but she was up to 297 pounds.
297. And she says she lost everything. Her self-esteem. She wasn't happy, but she lost everything but the weight.
You know, at my peak, I weighed 270.
My peak was when I was 9 months pregnant and I weighed maybe 150.
Really?
Yes.
Really? That's it?
That's pretty much, maybe 155, but yeah. I've not ever had a problem with weight till now.
So
thanks COVID.
When you weighed 150, how much weight was your baby?
Oh, I had 7-pound babies. I had 7 pounds.
So you went from 150 to 143?
No, never. It took a couple months, but I have not ever had problems with weight gain until now. As I've gotten older, our metabolism changes. COVID definitely didn't help sitting at home. I bought for the first time in years a box of Ding Dongs. Those Hostess Ding Dongs, and I ate them all within 2 days by myself.
I got so lazy with my cooking that I was literally living on protein bars.
Which people think that that's okay, but it's really not. There's a lot of fat in those.
Yeah, a lot of fat, and they're like 250 calories each. And if you have 7 a day.
Well, we get this false sense of security when you're eating these protein bars or you're eating these fat-free cookies, whatever. Hey, look at the ingredients. It still has a lot of sugar.
Check out Christine Carter's book. It's called Weight Loss Hero, Transform Your Mind and Your Body with a Healthy Keto Lifestyle. Now available on Amazon.com or wherever you get your books.
No better time than now. If you've put on a few pounds during COVID or maybe even before COVID, get this book.
I'm David Sams.
And I'm Victoria Robinson.
You've been listening to CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, the podcast from the producers of Keep the Faith. And you can check out our website at KeepTheFaith.com. That's the radio show website. And it's a really cool new website. And of course, our CIApodcast.com website, which is also contagiousInfluencers.com.
And you can make sure to give us a good rating. Give us a 5-star. That helps us to spread the good news. And that's what we want to do here at CIA is make sure that everybody gets something from these interviews.
I know you hear us say that a lot. Please give us a good review and give us a good rating. But the reality is they have done all these studies. Mm-hmm. And what really makes a podcast successful are you folks.
Are you guys. Yeah, listening and then rating.
And the ratings really matter. And not only the ratings, but the reviews. So just go on and give us a couple of lines. That would be really awesome. And remember to go out there and live that life in living color because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting and living it in black and white, especially these days. I'm sort of really tired of the black and white. It's unbelievable. All of the bad news every day and all of the earth-shattering news. And don't you want to just go crawl under a rock sometimes?
Nope. Go for a walk. Don't crawl under a rock. Go for a walk.
Is that a country song?
It could be. Hope Brad Paisley's listening.
You can get a co-writer credit. We'll see you next time here on CIA Contagious Influencers of America.